It's John. Now, have you ever heard of the word apotheosis? What it actually means is a man or a person becoming God, or believing that they are God. You know, sounds a bit like David Icke, doesn't it? You know, David Icke got a lot of stick for that, didn't he? For believing that he was God. The word originates from Caesar, the Roman leader, Caesar. And I don't know much about it, but apparently that's where it originates from. You know, and he made himself God. And of course, if you make yourself God, you know, it makes it easier to be a leader. And Emperor Hirohito in Japan, he was a god, wasn't he? But the line I want to take is that anybody who is creative is sharing in not the work of God, because anybody who's creative may not be doing something godly, may be creating in an ungodly way, if that is possible. And I would say especially science fiction writers would be a good example of creative people becoming gods, because they are in control of their characters and their scenario, their whole backdrop, everything. They're in control, aren't they? In control of everything. And a science fiction writer can dream up anything, and that dreaming up is the creativity, the becoming godlike. And how do you dream stuff up? Well, lots of ways, but one way is to be on the edge of dreams, on the very edge of falling asleep. You know, meditation. And perhaps being in there with the subconscious mind. The whole word subconscious means that you're not actually conscious of what's going on in the subconscious, but maybe you can get hints of it. And I think you can certainly get hints of what's going on in the subconscious mind by the way that one's skills develop, like understanding of music or such like. You pick up the guitar and think, oh, I can do that better this time. You know, even though you haven't actually practiced the guitar, something has happened in the subconscious, and the subconscious is on your side. And the creation is benevolent, and we can share in creation. In the 19th and 20th centuries, there was great worry, apparently, about men who understood very high-powered technologies, and the thought that they were going to become as gods and in charge of everybody else. Perhaps this was a theme of H.G. Wells, that the technicians or the crazy scientists were going to take over the world. But it hasn't quite happened. I don't feel it's happened like that. I mean, technology is filtered down to the populace, especially in computer ways, and the high-powered computers that everybody available to anybody means that you know, technology is with the masses. And yet, as has been said many times before, you know, what do we use the technology for? Very complex betting procedures on football games, and not very creative ways. So technicians create fantastic technologies, but they're not always used in devastatingly advanced ways. And rather than the technicians becoming the controllers of society and the ones to be fearful of, it seems like man's love of money has taken control, and the finance has taken control, and the amount of money that's in the world, because we can exploit resources more and more, we seem to be able to create more and more money, and more money means more consumption, which isn't a good thing. I believe in the simple life. So the simple life. I mean, the simple life is, to me, means not doing too much, but perhaps there's no limit on the amount of thinking one can do. I've probably said it before. There's only one journey, and it's the journey within. David Icke was ridiculed for. Did he say he was a god? I'm not quite up with it, but that's sort of the tabloid press for you, isn't it? Anybody who thinks outside the box gets ridiculed. It's almost as if we're more afraid of thoughts and people's strange thoughts than we are afraid of the way that we're destroying the environment. I mean, some people over the Easter holiday, they take 3 foreign holidays. Carbon footprint incredible. Why would anybody want 3 foreign holidays? I know why. Because advertisements have told them that if you have a holiday, you're going to have lots of pleasure. If you have 3 foreign holidays, you'll have more pleasure. So people do what the adverts tell them, like headless chickens, and they think they've had pleasure. They've believed the hype of the advert, and they've brainwashed themselves to think that this is it. That was pleasure, and it's been great. Well, okay, maybe it was. I don't know. I mean, whether all these, buying all this stuff that adverts tell us is fulfilling is a different matter. As I say, I believe that the only real journey is within, and sort of reaching a sort of resolution within one's own mind about who one is and where one is and one's place on the world and the limitations of one's life, 70 years and 10 and all that stuff. Humanity is the highest evolved creature on the planet. So we have, and humanity is basically the brain. We haven't got the legs of a cheetah, but we've got the best brain. So let's make use of that brain, and be creative, and also trust that the subconscious is actually benevolent, and there is a force working inside us which resolves problems and develops skills. Right, bye for now.